Welcome to another episode of Creative Wednesday. This week we will be making another miniature kit, which is called Alice Forest Afternoon Tea, which is why I'm dressed up like Alice today. This kit is actually also from the Mini Fairy Forest series. As usual, first things first, we are going to check out the contents of this kit. We have another postcard with Alice in it. It's really cute. And we have the instructions, a bag of these fake plants, the electronic pieces, and also some pebbles. Again, we also have a bunch of tools. This is the same as the miniature elf tribe kit. Ooh, look what we have. We have Alice. She's so adorable. Can you see? We have the glue, and here we have the glass sphere. This kit is not as complicated as most of the previous kits that we have made, so it's going to be just in one part. So yeah, let's get started. Alrighty, first up we shall look at the instructions. This is Mini Fairy Forest series, which is called Alice Forest Afternoon Tea. The final product will look like this. Let's see what we'll need to do first. In the instructions, they will always give you the pictures of all the materials we have. First, we'll need to cut out this checkered template and glue it onto this base piece. And we'll need to construct the frame. Let's start by cutting out this template. Alright, now that we have our template, we will need to glue it onto this base piece, and we'll need to use these 4 wooden pieces here to make the frame. We'll need all these materials here. The base and frame is completed. On to the next step. Next, we'll need to make this table. We'll need to cut out this template, so we'll quickly do that. Now that we have cut out our template, we need to glue the legs onto our table. And we'll basically need to trace this fabric with this template and cut it out. Glue it onto the table until it forms something like this. We'll need to measure up these 2 lace fabrics and this blue ribbon. Measure it up according to these measurements here and cut it out. One of the lace will go at the side of the tablecloth, and the other lace and the ribbon will go on top of the table like so. We'll basically need these materials here. This is completed. It looks close enough. The next step is pretty easy. Basically, we need to cut out these 2 card templates and then fold them up like so. Alright, next we'll need to make this blue chair. We need to cut out the template and trace it onto this fabric. Glue it onto the back of the chair like so. Glue the seat and the legs. The final product will look like this. Let's quickly cut this template out. So this is the fabric that we'll need to trace and cut out. Here's the thing, I've worked with this fabric before and it falls apart so easily. You can see here the top part is already falling apart, but I have a little trick to keep it intact. It's really simple. We'll spread some glue on, and when it dries up, it should hold itself together and not fall apart. Again, this glue will dry clear, so no need to worry too much. We'll let this dry up first. So this is what it looks like when the glue has dried up. Now let's trace our template and cut this material out. I like to put on a little bit of tape on so that the template won't slide around. And we shall now cut it out. Now we need to glue it onto the back of our chair, like so. Looking good. Now let's assemble the entire chair. So next we'll need to construct this brown chair using these materials. Next we'll need to assemble this wooden sign. As you can see, the sign says Alice Forest Afternoon Tea. Next we will need to make these 3 books here. Basically, we'll need to cut out template D5, D6 and D7, fold it up into this zigzag pattern, and it will turn into these tiny books here. These are the 3 templates that we'll need to cut out. So as you can see here, this book says Alice in Wonderland. There's tiny illustrations. It's really cool. The second book has a teacup on it that says Wonderland, and there's all these teacup illustrations. And I feel like this could be a book that teaches you how to make tea or some sort. It's really cute. And the third one says something with children. Basically, this title is so tiny that even Megan couldn't read it. They have all these really cool illustrations, and it says, "We're all mad here." Alright, let's fold these books up. Next up, we'll need to make the Mad Hatter's top hat. It looks like this, and we'll need to cut out all these templates, roll it up. We'll need this string as well. The final product will look like this. We'll need these materials here. Circles are always difficult to cut perfectly. Up next, we'll need to make this teapot. we'll just need to measure and cut out these wires. We'll need to bend the wire, and these are two metal pieces that we'll need to assemble them together. These are the materials that we'll need. We'll need a little time for the glue to dry up, so let's set this aside. Next up, we'll need to make this tiny crystal cup and these two golden cups right here. This crystal cup is pretty easy. It's basically this bead and this sequin glued together. And for these golden cups, we'll need to use the golden wire, some of these metal pieces as well, and assemble them together. So as you can see, we should have another one of this golden metal piece here, but I kind of dropped it onto the floor and I tried looking for this everywhere, couldn't find it. I think it's probably in another dimension by now. Oh goodness, I'm so sorry, but at least we can still make one golden cup. We'll have to make use of what we have right now. We'll need to make this cake stand, and it has this adorable layered cake on top. We need to use these two silver pieces, slice these pieces, stack them up like this. The pink slice will be in the middle. Assemble this cake stand and glue everything together. We'll need to use these materials. The yellow slices should be a little bit thinner, but it's really difficult to make it thin, so please don't mind it too much. Next up, we're going to make these pastries. We need to cut out this leaf template. This is a brown kind of donut shaped bead. We need to cut out another slice of this pink swirl cake, and we need to cut this orange slice into half, separate it in three, glue the pieces up like so. The final product will look like this. We will also need to make this rose here. We will need to cut out the rose petals from this template, roll it up, and glue all the petals together, and it should be completed. This flower is by far the hardest thing to make. I just glue on the petals one by one. After that, wait for the glue to dry up. And then I use these tweezers to kind of open up the petals. Next up, we need to make this bird cage. We just need to cut out a few wires according to the measurements here. The base of the bird cage will be this gold round piece here, and we'll need to bend the wires and glue everything together to form the bird cage. This took way too long. I'm glad that it's complete. Now on to the next step. We need to use the golden wires to bind the two LEDs together. Oh, and we need to wrap this LED up in this textured paper. The textured paper is basically just the strings that has been unraveled. We'll need these materials here. We'll need to bend the LED tree trunk and slot the fake branches on. It will turn into a tree that looks like this. Let's first bend this tree trunk and then slot in our branches. I am quite happy with how this turned out. For the next step, it's quite easy. We'll need to make this antique watch. We'll need to cut out this clock face template, cut and bend the golden wire. We'll also need to use these two golden pieces and we'll assemble it together. The final product will look like this. We will need all these materials. This looks awesome. Now, before we continue on to the next part, I don't know if you remember that we made this tiny crystal cup. Since they gave us extra materials, I figured we should make 3 more crystal cups so we can utilize all the materials that they gave us. Complete! Next up, we shall make this flag here that says, "It's tea time all the time." We need to bend these wires and twirl the wire, cut out this template and basically glue it on. We need to add this tiny heart on top of this flag, like so. Awesome! Now it's the fun part. We need to glue on all the things that goes on top of this table. There's the crystal cups, the teapot, the golden cups. For our case, it's just 1 cup, so 1 golden cup, the flower, the cake and the cake stand, some pastries, a book, and the top hat. These are the items that will go on top of this table. In the instructions, the top hat goes on top of this book, but I feel like it covers up all the cool details of the book, especially the pages inside with all the illustrations, so I'm going to put it on the side instead. It looks so cute. Next up, we'll have to attach our tree onto our base piece. The wire will go through this hole here, and you need to do all the wiring and stuff. I'm going to quickly explain it. It's really simple. We just have to connect the white wire and the grey wires onto this battery pack here. And I'm going to assume that this is the grey wire because it's slightly greyish. The grey will connect to the grey and the white will connect to this white wire here. I will quickly do that and be back in a second. The battery pack is now connected to our LED. Next up, we'll need to attach the birdcage onto one of these branches. Glue on the brown chair. The blue chair will go at the end of the other corner. We need to glue on the table and all the items. 2 of the books will go under the table as well as the playing cards. The watch will go here. under this corner as well as this blue ribbon. So awesome to see everything come together. This is probably my favorite part of making miniature kits. When you're watching this video, it looks like we just complete everything in one day, but this is actually filmed in different days. Basically, I work on this kit for a few hours per day. We'll place these 3 items after we have placed all the plants as well as the pebbles into the glass sphere, which we are going to do next. Add on the frame, add on all the fake plants. We need to trim all the stems and arrange it like so. Oh, I almost forgot, but we'll need to add Alice behind this table. These are the plants that we need to add on to our glass sphere. You will see the final product in a second. So off screen, I basically just glued some of these pebbles onto the frame piece just to cover it up a bit so that it's not too exposed. They don't give us enough pebbles to cover the entire frame, so this is a good alternative. I filled the sphere up with all the fake plants and add in the playing card and the flag. Also, I removed one of these branches and add it into the sphere. Next up, we just have to add in the frame. This wooden signboard will go in last. And we'll need to add in Alice as well. Look at her, she's so adorable. Our miniature Alice Forest Afternoon Tea kit is now completed. This kit is really cute. I enjoyed making it and I am so happy on how this turned out. I really enjoyed making themed miniature kits, so I hope that I can make more of these in the future. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Creative Wednesday. If you did, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're new to my channel. Leave a comment if you like. Thanks again for watching and I will see you guys next time. Bye!